She had no sense of time, no idea of how long she'd been out. Her head was spinning and a dull throb ached at her temple. The sharp scent of old petrol and oil stains filled her nose. It reminded her of her father's garage. She rubbed her eyes, hoping it would help her vision come back into focus. But the room was pitch black. Her leg was asleep. She shook it, and a heavy clanking rattled. She felt around in the dark. A metal clasp was fixed around her ankle. Her stomach dropped and her heart rate jolted. She reached around her, following the chain on her leg to an anchor bolted against the wall. No, no, no. An image of him flashed in her mind, and she feverishly tugged on the chain. Her leg, still numb from whatever had been used to drug her, prickled at the sudden movement. She pulled harder, shoving her stronger foot against the wall for leverage and using the weight of her body to stretch the chain taut. It didn't budge. She crawled closer to the wall and felt around the bolt, nails digging at the cold wall in search of any weak points. This couldn't be happening. Not again. It must be a nightmare, because it couldn't be him. He was dead. They said he was dead. She heaved on the chain. Tears streamed down her face. The muscles in her arms strained nearly to their breaking point, but she refused to stop pulling. She couldn't let it happen again. Not again. She'd never survive him a second time. Once had nearly killed her. She wrenched her leg upward. The sharp edge of the clasp tore her skin. A white-hot pain shot up through her shin. She dropped her leg and the chain to the floor. She desperately tried to focus on escape, but her mind fought against her, surging forth with the memories of 8 years ago. Her breaths increased with the furious beating of her heart, and her throat began to close up. Don't you dare have a panic attack. Focus! Pull yourself together! A door creaked open, letting in a thin sliver of yellow light. She winced and raised her hand to shield her eyes from the sudden brightness. She saw the legs first. 2 thin shadows walking towards her. She couldn't make out any details. The figure was distorted by the jaundiced gleam from the light outside the room and her own panicked thoughts. Dear God, please don't be him. Not him. Anyone but him. The figure stopped just out of reach. You were out for a long time? The voice was jarring, and she scrambled to place it. But it was unfamiliar. It wasn't him. She inhaled deeply at that realization, holding her breath in her chest longer than necessary before breathing out a sigh. But there was no relief. The hairs stood rigid on the back of her neck. Because if it wasn't him, then who was it? Please, Louisa begged. What do you want? Money? I'll give you anything I can. Just please let me go. I don't want money. A shiver crawled up Louisa's spine. Her eyes narrowed, trying to get a clearer look at the person standing before her. They were tall, lean-figured, but the voice was cold, just as those eyes had been. Mercilessly cold. And she almost wished it were him. He was at least familiar. He was a known entity, and everything aside, he had loved her in his own sick way. But Louisa had the impression that this person didn't love anyone. They didn't exude a single ounce of compassion. That was how she knew she would die. Then what do you want? Tell me, please. I'll do anything you want. Just tell me. The figures shifted their weight from one foot to the other before taking one step closer. Louisa crawled back against the wall. The chain rattled along after her. She gripped her hands around the bolt on the wall. Please, what do you want from me? I want you to give a message to Kjeld Nygaard. Louisa recoiled in shock. What? But before Louisa could process what had been said, her captor lit a match, and Louisa screamed.